Greetings, Black Feather Intuitive. Stacy's running a little behind. She'll be with us in a second. And just like that, I say her name and she pops in.
And I
I am
appear.
getting some magical properties that I am getting from you. I say your name and you magically
And
appear.
I magically appear. Absolutely. How's everyone doing tonight?
Everyone's doing great. You know, we have that day coming up next week that people like to love or hate.
Oh, as in Valentine's Day?
Yes, or Singles Awareness Day, or
Oh, is that what it's being
that's
called?
coming up. And you know what I always tell people? You don't have to look at Valentine's Day romantically. It's a day of love. You can love anything,
Right. Oh
you
my
know.
God, Keone, I love that
Yeah, maybe
reframe.
spend do an event with your pets that you've never done before, or take them
Mhm.
somewhere you've never taken them, or your kids, or your best friend. I've spent Valentine's Day sometimes in the past with my best friend, you
Oh, I
know.
love
So
no, I
just
love
keep that in mind because we're going to
it's a
see them after Valentine's Day. So I want to get that out there before.
I think it's great. And I'd never thought of it. I tend to be a little bit of a bah
Mhm,
humbug about it. Even when I was married, I was kind of
mhm,
like, meh, like we see each other every day. So like I always
mhm.
take advantage of every day is an opportunity to celebrate. So,
Yes.
for me, it's like, okay, it's a day, but I love that reframe. It's a day of love and it's a day
Mhm.
to be in your heart space and a day to share that love with others, with whoever you want to share it with.
Yes. And if your way of celebrating it is driving around, and when you see couples holding hands, you want to throw eggs at them, and that makes you feel happy, do that. You know? Last thing I want to say, I'm glad I was on anytime we do a pre-record and I'm there, not there, nothing happens. But every time I've decided to watch in, there's always a glitch. And it just works out that way. It's so funny.
Well, it was good that you were there because I
Yeah.
was not. So so I'm glad you caught it because it was the next day when I watched the next day or the day after when I watched
Mhm.
the replay of it, and the first section there's no sound and I'm like, holy fuck
You're like,
balls.
wait, you didn't know I was there, so you probably thought, did he show a whole video with no
No sound. That was the exact thought I had was, oh my God, like how did I screw that up? I'm sure I tested it. What happened? And then I'm like, oh no, the sound is there. And I'm like, okay, maybe I was just imagining it, right? Like sometimes
no?
that happens. Psychic with
After
a bad
your music, it kind of just went out, and then Ragu and a couple of other people on YouTube said we can't hear the sound, and then so I fixed it, and then one person couldn't hear it, but everybody else could. So I don't know what that was, but hey, you said we were out of retrograde, and I tell you all year long you're lying. So
I know. Well, with you had some snafus this month or this week.
weekend,
I've been having some snafus recently too that are very Mercury retrograde in nature in
uh,
terms of tech. That
yes.
are like inexplicable, but it's not
Mhm.
Mercury retrograde. So I don't know what that is either.
It's also troubling that we've gotten to a place where I didn't have internet since Saturday, and I couldn't accomplish 75% of the things that I needed to accomplish. That's sad.
Yeah, it's
That's
frustrating. It's
oof,
frustrating.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe the universe just wanted you to slow down a little bit.
Okay. All right. I'm taking 2 weeks off. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, perfect.
All right. Let me stop taking up all the time. Great to see you again. We're here live. Here
Yes.
you go. Stacy's here.
Absolutely. Hi, guys. So, welcome, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to Demystify the Divine weekly readings and tools to connect. I apologize for being 30 seconds late or a minute late, whatever it was that I was. I had to feed the boys. So it was, you guys all got put on the back burner to make sure that my boys' bellies are full. So there you have it. Now you know what Black Feather's priorities are. It's also putting food in my belly too. So there's always a priority there. Make no mistake. So hoping everyone is doing well. How did you guys fare with the full moon? We had full moon in Leo. And, it's kind of a mixed bag. There are some people where it kind of landed in their charts. Where it landed in their charts, it was, I want to say, a lot of nonsense and shenaniganery. It was a lot of get me the fark out of here. I want to just blow everything up. Like, what is going on? And then there were other people, and I'm grateful I was one of the people that didn't have that, where I actually felt peaceful. I felt contented. I felt like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders, which quite frankly, I'll take more of that coming up. But I do know that the majority of people were wigging out. So if you're one of the people that was wigging out, feel free to put in the comments there how you managed. I know purposely, because I knew that a lot of people were out of sorts, I was sending a lot of energy to the collective to try and keep things sort of tampered down a little bit, because there was just so much, again, nonsense and shenaniganery, just a lot of stuff going on. So hoping everyone is doing well. So for those of you, of course, who are returning, love to have you. Thank you so much for all of your loyalty and your attendance at me, knowing that when I show up, it's not just Keone and I looking at each other, that there's actually people who are taking advantage of all of this. And to those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, welcome. We have a great show. There's lots of laughter. There's lots of, guidance that comes through. We got angelic energy, we got channelings, we got tarot and oracle readings. We've got a grab your deck section where I help you to take the general reading and make it a little more personal for you using your own deck. We got it all, a little bit of everything here. So welcome, and thank you for checking us out. So without further ado, I also need to say that a couple of weeks back, we did a Demystify, and we put it on YouTube and Facebook, and Facebook decided to remove it, blacklist me and shutting me down and all sorts of things because of the royalty-free music that we use. Apparently it was copyrighted. Although I don't believe that that's the case. So we're trying some new music out today that I actually personally commissioned. So I know for a fact that, it's not copyrighted. Nobody has any rights to it at all, because I paid to create it specifically for me and for this purpose. So we're going to give that a shot. But if you were trying to watch the show 2 weeks ago through Facebook and you were having a problem finding it, we apologize. Facebook just decided to be a rebellious teenager and not cooperate and not tell us, specifically what was going on. I had 3 people on my team doing some deep dive to figure out what was going on. So anyway, there we are. So I'm going to now go into my happy place, and I'm going to get a word of the day, or a word of the week, or a phrase of the week, and get us started, see what our guides want us to know. And, while I'm doing this, I want everyone to take a moment to close your eyes with me, take a couple of deep breaths, release the day. I know this is what I'm going to be doing as well. Peace through purpose. So this week, the guidance coming through is to find your peace, to seek your peace through your personal purpose. Now, purpose is a sticky wicket. There's this concept out there that every single person has a purpose, and it's one single purpose. And if you don't find it, you're screwing something up. You're not doing the right thing. That's not true. Purpose, we can have many levels of purpose in our lives, especially those of you who are star seeds and light workers who are watching this show. You have purpose with the collective as well as your own soul purpose, and your purpose within your soul family and your dream team and the people that you're doing this thing called life with. But what I'm feeling here is peace through purpose. It definitely feels like our guides want us to connect with whatever we choose to be purposeful about. So it's not about your purpose. It's about, what am I being purposeful at doing right now? What intention am I setting in this moment right now to be purposeful at? This can be, I'm going to be purposeful in shuffling the cards for you guys in a minute or so, or 5 minutes or so, whatever it's going to be. I'm going to be purposeful in that action. I am purposeful in connecting with you guys today. I was purposeful in feeding the boys before I got on the call. So it's less about your purpose and more about bringing purpose into every moment. And that is what is going to bring us peace. Now, they've been talking a lot about peace. And I remember when I was doing my year-end previews, peace kept coming up all over the place. So it's definitely, I want to say, a sort of a collective theme or a collective something or other that all of us are trying to, achieve or connect with or bring more of and more about. Obviously, we know we're not on a peaceful planet right now, right? So goes without saying, you don't need to be psychic to figure that out. But the fact that peace keeps coming up in these word of the weeks and in these readings, and I feel like they've talked about it in different channelings as well, it's because peace is the key. It's the secret. And it's not peace on earth. The secret to gaining peace is by bringing it from within. Individually, one person at a time brings peace. And you're going to bring peace this week within your own minds and your own hearts by being purposeful in the actions that you take. So it doesn't matter what action you take, if you're purposeful in it and you're consciously aware of the purpose it's serving, or if you're purposeful in how you're doing it, you're on purpose. You're doing what you're here to do in that moment. So this is not a message about finding your overall purpose, seeking purpose, being on purpose. This is being purposeful. Very interesting message. I'm keeping my eyes closed as well because I'm being told I need to channel before I pull some cards. So I'm just going to continue to go into my happy place and see who wants to come through this week. Dear ones, we wish to convey at this time that there is no point at all for any of you to connect to a singular concept of purpose. Yes, we are reiterating the same message, because it is important to understand that the powers that came into humanity many centuries ago changed up the nature of connection with self and source from within. You are all now at a place where you are opening yourselves to the truth that has always been within, but was forgotten for a time. And that is, purpose is being in these bodies, having experiences in these bodies, enjoying the sensation of breath and blood and bone. It is being in corporeal form. It is being in the flesh and walking the earth in this flesh so that all can be experienced through sensation. Yes, you all get very fixated on what it is that you are supposed to be doing. And while there is a mission of sorts for many of you, that truly comes secondary to the relishing of the experience of being in your bodies. Yes, there are other places in the galaxy, in the multiverses, that have certain corporeal experiences, but none as unique as this planet Earth. If you close your eyes and you connect to your truth center within your body, you will resonate with this message, because it is in your DNA. It is in your cellular memory. The purpose is to become all that you choose to become while you are in these bodies. And we have passed on this message to you before. Earth is a playground. It is a stage. And each of you are writing your own musicals, your own plays. And some of you are writing your own dissertations. And all of it is beautiful. And all of it has purpose. You are purpose in your thoughts, in your actions, in your communications. Everything you do is on purpose. Remember this, dear ones. Everything you do is on purpose. Lighten up, knowing that this is your truth. You do not need to be so serious. And instead, allow your purposeful light to shine. Receive our words with the intention they are delivered as an opportunity to consider and to apply or to dismiss. There is no judgment. Be well. Interesting. Okay, I'm really in the clouds. We're going to pull some cards. What time is it, Keone? I love those things. Our little intro. So today we are pulling from a brand new tarot deck that I've been waiting months to receive. It is called Keeper of the Sacred Bee. It is another Kickstarter independent card deck that I chose to support. I was really drawn to it. And of course, we all know about the bees. It's interesting that I pulled bees and the message is purpose, because bees have a big purpose on this planet. And you know, I'm sure everybody knows, I'm not going to go into sort of a history lesson around the bees and why they're so important. But this deck, the tarot deck, is all around the keeper, the beekeeper, the keeper of the bees. And so it's got really cool imagery. So let's see what our week holds. Oh, interesting. So we have Four of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles is a card of investment. It can be seen as a card of protection. And it's also a card that recognizes the need for a foundation to be established, or a foundation to be created. And I'm feeling like this week, the energy here is that the collective is going through a little bit of a shift within the shift, we can talk about the big shift. This is a smaller shift. I feel like this is a shift for this week that's going to require more emphasis and more attention around what does the collective need in order to be able to spread its wings and fly. So this week is going to bring about some interesting issues. Sorry about the earthquake. Hi, Neil. It's going to bring some interesting information around. We already know that we've got some financial stuff that's going on, but I feel like there's also, like I keep seeing books and knowledge and questioning things that have been a foundation or a mainstay or something that people have, built worlds on. And it's like this week, there's a lot that's going to be coming up collectively. And then I feel like it trickles down into each of our individual paths to question that, to question whether or not that is actually a good foundation or whether that foundation is still applicable to what is going on. I'm also hearing that for about half of us, there's going to be this, I want to say sort of this energy that comes up where you can, in an instant, clearly see this is something that I'm doing that I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't feel it. I don't love it. I don't care about it. I'm done. Like, stick a fork in me. I'm done. And I feel like this is coming up for about half of us because I'm hearing it's going to come up for the other half later, in another month or so. But I'm feeling like the half of us, it's coming up right now because the first half are ones that are recognizing that we need to establish something different, that what is here now isn't working. And yes, I'm talking about the collective, but I feel like it's going to be like in little small areas of our life, this is just a random thing that's coming to my head. I don't know why, but okay, I'm going to stop using a diamond shaped toothbrush and I'm going to go to a round shaped toothbrush because, my dentist has been telling me about it for years. And all of a sudden today's the day I woke up and I realized, you know what? I think it's time. I don't like the diamond. I don't like the way the diamond feels in my mouth. So I'm going to try the round. I mean, it can be as simple and mundane as that, or it can be you're sitting at work, you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden you realize, I don't want to do this anymore. And I mean, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know that everyone is going to in one big mass, get up and quit their jobs or anything. But I want to say there's definitely going to be a strong energy of recognition and acknowledgement, as well as a little bit of action step towards, we need a new foundation. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm also feeling like for some of us, there's an energy around, this also can be health and wellness when we're talking about Four of Pentacles, when we're talking about pentacle energy. I'm feeling like for some of us, there are going to be some health concerns that already are in existence. So this is not new health issues. This is people who are already going through certain health issues. I feel like there's going to be something coming up around particular health issues where there's also an energy of, I want to say like upliftment or lightening the mood where you were panicked about it before, you were freaking out about it before, you were going, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Or if this turns chronic, oh my God. And then all of a sudden you're just like, I realize that I don't have to claim this. I don't need to own this. Sure, I'm feeling it right now, but I can let things go. I don't have to sit in this energy of fear. I don't want to sit in this energy of lack, or I don't want to sit in this this physicality that is reflecting some of the wounds that I'm in the process of healing, and it's coming through in the physical so that I can release that from the body, right? Because the body is the last line of defense, so to speak. It is when something shows up and it manifests in the physical, it means that you have had many opportunities to deal with it on a mental level or an emotional level or even an energetic level. And the body is now screaming, you haven't done anything about this. You need to pay attention to this. You got to look at this. We got to deal with it. Because if we don't deal with it, it deals with us, right? So feeling like there's some stuff coming up for some of us, not everyone, people who have already been dealing with a health concern, it's almost like you get to that space of, oh, now I get it. I just don't care. I'm not connecting to it. It's not in my reality any longer. And whether you have that for a split second or you're able to maintain that, for the duration, I feel like it's a shift in consciousness for everyone. Anyone who's going through this, you're also going to be doing this for the collective. So the collective is going to feel this as well. Even if you are the person who has that split second moment of it, now you've had the experience and you can recreate it. So it's not focusing on your health or focusing on health issues. It's, oh, I have a little bit of liberation around how I'm viewing this or how I'm feeling it in my body or how I'm not accepting it in my body any longer. I'm kicking it out. It's out. It's evicted. And I'm not even giving it 2 weeks notice. It's out now. So random message, but there's what we got. And now I'm going to pull an oracle deck from my favorite Kyle Gray. I haven't pulled from him in a long time, actually. This is, Angels and Ancestors. Okay, so 2 cards, well, the whole thing flew out, but 2 cards flew out upright. So we're going to read those 2 cards today. So the first one is Lady. Enjoy growth and reap rewards. So I'm really drawn to the red and the green. The green, of course, is the heart energy. It's healing. So I think that's interesting that that's coming up after the message that we got with the 4 of Pentacles. I'm also feeling that the lady here with this pomegranate that she's got in her hands, it's an apple tree, but then what she's got in her hands, I feel is a pomegranate. So I'm going to read it like a pomegranate and not an apple. I can read it both ways, but we're going to say pomegranate. I feel like this week, there's going to be a lot of energy around individuals tapping into the shadow side, the underworld, as well as what's going on in the surface. And I'm not talking conspiracy theory stuff. Here, I'm actually talking about being in a more liberated space where you're recognizing some of the darker or some of the deeper stuff and you're saying, no more. I can face it and I can look at it objectively. I'm slightly once removed from the situation or slightly once removed, emotionally detached slightly from this so that I don't have to be so all in with whatever this is. So pomegranate is that, the connection to the underworld, the seeds of the underworld. It's connected to Persephone and the whole story, the whole myth there. I won't get into all of that, but I love the green, the connection to the pentacles and the healing energy. And then the red is root chakra. Root chakra is, I feel safe. I feel secure. I have all of my needs met. I not only survive, I thrive. And the lady is coming through this week to say, this needs to be your mantra. I have all of my needs met. I am safe and secure. I have all of my needs met. I not only survive, I thrive. And that is whether you're in the underworld and you're thriving or whether you're in the, on the surface and you're thriving. The point is you're thriving. So use that as your mantra this week, especially for those of you who are running into some health concerns. That's a big one. The second card that came out is Winter. Take care of your needs. Wow. So definitely getting a lot of message around health and wellness. I'm hearing a lot of mental energy when I'm tapping into this wolf card, feeling like this is the card to remind us that while we are dealing with the physical aspects of whatever is coming up in our life, whether it's health and wellness or whether it's, dealing with finances or, dealing with whatever it is across the board for you, it's understanding that sometimes when we're focused on other things, it's the mental space that can get forgotten about, or it gets put to the side. I won't think about that today. I'll think about that tomorrow. It's put off, it's delayed. And there are a lot of people talking about mental health today. It's not a stigma the way that it was, which I think is great. We need to, any way that we can get rid of shame, let's do it. But I also am feeling like this is a clear message that our guides are saying a lot of you are going to be focused on a lot of other things, and the mental space is going to suffer as a result. So you need to make sure that you are connecting the mental health piece along with everything else. So you might have someone who's got, some kind of injury on their body, or they're dealing with some kind of illness or whatever. Nobody stops to say, how are you doing? How are you feeling about all that? I shouldn't say nobody. People do. That's what we want to be doing to ourselves and for ourselves. When anyone says, how are you doing? Like, I understand, like, you're healing physically, but how are you doing mentally? You've been recovering in the house for 4 weeks. Where are you at with that? Like, how are you feeling? Are you, what do you need? So I feel like the mental health and the mental energy field is what needs a little bit of included TLC, along with anything physical that's going on. And for those of you who don't have anything physical going on, the message is very clear. Pay attention to your mental health this week, because there's a lot going on in the collective that is topsy-turvy. And you might think you're doing really well and you're right on track and everything's okay. And then one tiny little thing comes around and it slips you up. And don't judge yourself for it. Just recognize, ooh, my mental health actually is a little out of balance, and I didn't realize how out of balance it was. Let me take some time to do some self-care. Let me, go talk to someone, or, let me go, sit and feed some ducks for a while and just chill out and not have to, commune with the rest of the world. Let me read a book, whatever it is that you need to do for your mental health and mental stability. Because folks, it's all about wholeness. It's all about wholeness. And so while that can feel sometimes daunting, because we're so trained to think, I want to say compartmentally, right? We compartmentalize. Okay, I've got something physical going on that's separate from my mental and my emotional and my energetic and my financial. It's separate. No, it's you, the whole package. And yeah, we preach to the, shout it on the rooftops, mental illness awareness, or mental health awareness, and physical health awareness, and blah, 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 blah. We're talking about it to everyone else. Well, what are we doing for ourselves? How are we bringing that into, I'm going to say, full circle for ourselves to treat ourselves as whole? The wolf is coming through as well, because the wolf is a lone wolf sometimes, as well as a wolf energy is the pack. And you do what is best for the pack, or you have your role in the pack. And the lone wolf says, okay, I do all of those things, but then I go off and I do my own thing as well. And so I feel like all the wolf is saying is, what kind of wolf are you? Are you a lone wolf, or are you part of the pack? If you're a lone wolf, you need a little bit of alone time. That's how you're going to provide that mental clarity and that mental health. If you are a part of the pack and you have a role, I feel like the focus then needs to be on, am I getting out and seeing my peeps? Am I fulfilling my role? Am I feeling fulfilled in that role? Maybe my role needs to be shifted up, and that's why I'm having some mental space or mental issues around what's going on in my world. So ask yourself what kind of wolf you are, and then give yourself what you need in terms of, what would that wolf need? The lone wolf, I don't want to say the lone wolf doesn't need anybody, but the lone wolf prefers their own company. And the packs, they all have their particular roles, and they work as a community. So pay attention to what you're needing at that time. And I would venture to say as well that, most of us probably have the lone wolf as well as the pack wolf within us, kind of like the divine masculine and the divine feminine within each of us. Same kind of idea. All right, I feel like I'm just going on and on and on, and I feel like I'm really in the clouds today. So I apologize. I have no idea what's coming through. It is what it is today. I've been going since about 7 o'clock this morning. So I think that's part of it too, is that I'm just physically tired. So, when you're with the kids and they get overtired and they, get all giddy and they're laughing and they're extra goofy, and you're just like, oh my God, like, just go to sleep. I'm wondering if maybe that's some of what's creeping in. Anyway, Keo,
you need your wine.
Well, I do have my wine next to me, but I'm not drinking it until after our session. So
wait, does wine make you sleepy, or does it give you a little more
It doesn't make me sleepy.
we could get the hard stuff for you. I don't know if it's in the budget, but we'll get the hard stuff.
Yeah, no, My body does not do the hard liquor anymore. Okay, I'm going to go into my happy place here and come up with a couple of questions. I have no idea whether these questions will even correlate to what was just said or not. So we'll just go with it and we'll see what happens.
And this section is called All right, everybody, go ahead and grab your decks. If you have a deck of Oracle or Tarot, you can pull your own card and put it in the live chat on Facebook or YouTube, and Stacy will talk to you about those cards. We'll do the live chat first. We've already have people lined up for the live chat, so that's always great. Then we will get to live chat questions and then posted commented questions that are on the YouTube or the Facebook page. So on this part, if you're new here, Stacy will draw 2 questions. She will ask those questions, and then she will pull a card for each to kind of give you a preview of how those questions are answered, or sometimes she'll jump right into it and get it from the live guests. If you've been on here before, you know Stacy always goes by feeling. So what may be set in a pattern sometimes gets shoveled and moved around as she sees fit, which is a positive thing, not a negative thing. It's a great thing here. And we've all had those days, Stacy, I know. And when you're exhausted and you push through it and do a show, it only makes it better when you're not exhausted. So being here for everybody. And what questions do we have?
All right. Well, first of all, I will say, even my most exhausted day of doing what I do is still like my best day of doing anything else. So, you know, I'm just keeping it real with you guys that if you think I'm a little extra spacey or off my rocker today, it's true. That's why it is. But I do love being here. I do love showing up and being with all of you. So I appreciate
it is easier when you're doing what you love. Being exhausted and doing something you're not happy doing is the worst.
It's the worst
in the world.
Oh yeah, and I've been there.
That's a cubicle job to me. I always told myself I would not get a desk job. I do not want to go to the same place at the same time every day of the week. And I ended up getting a desk job, and it was the worst 5 years of my life.
Yeah, it's something I think a lot of us have to go through to realize that we don't have to do that. You know, part of that is very much the star seed, and a lot of that is indigo. If you identify with indigo, that's a big part of the sort of the indigo child or the indigo adult as well, is recognizing, don't give me this kind of structure. Don't fence me in. Nobody puts baby in a corner, right?
Nobody puts baby in a corner. Yes.
Exactly.
I love indigo. It's a very popular drink in Miami. All right. What's question number 1?
Yeah. Question number 1, guys. So when you go to pick your decks today, shuffle up, we got 2 cool questions. So what energy can I lean into this week to help me be purposeful in my actions? So that was a big thing that was coming up, and we got a channeled message around that as well. What energy can I lean into this week to help me be purposeful in my actions? Your second card pull is what energy helps me connect to my ultimate health? Because there was a lot of stuff around health, and this applies whether you're having health issues or whether you're not. What energy this week helps me connect to my ultimate health? Because we all need to keep our frequencies high, right? I like to say if your frequency is vibing high enough, illness and dis-ease cannot take root. That's I want to say that's an ultimate goal for us as humans physically, is to vibe so high that illness and dis-ease cannot take root. So that's why I came up with that question. All right, who we got first?
And you know who's first. It is Indu.
Hi, Leonie. Nice to meet you both. Good evening.
Yes. How are you doing today?
Good.
Awesome.
I was feeling cold. Look at you and look at me. I'm somewhere in Antarctica or Alaska or Siberia or someplace.
Well, you know, it's so funny, Indu, and I know you live in the same city as me. So it was 72 degrees today. I actually did most of my client sessions outside. I was so happy to be in the sunshine and the warmth. And then as soon as the sun started to drop, I was inside like a shot. And I actually turned the fireplace on for a time. It's not on now, but I turned the fireplace on because I was like, it's like the body doesn't know how to adjust. You know, you got 40 degrees 1 minute and then you got 72 the next. Like, how does the body know what to do?
Well, go ahead, laugh at me if you must, but this is what you
I'm
get.
not laughing. I'm agreeing with you. I get it. I get it. In the same day, I can be in a parka and a blanket and out at the pool with my, my bathing suit on and getting some sun. It's the nature of the beast. So.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm laughing at both of you.
Okay, good.
Good on you, Keone. That's the spirit.
All right. So, Indu, do you have a deck that you want?
I got 2 cards, both from Oracle decks.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
The first one is from Goddess Guidance.
Love it.
And the card would be...
Ooh, Nematona. Oh, Sacred Space. That's beautiful. What does the card say at the bottom?
Create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine.
Oh, so what energy can I lean into this week to help me be purposeful in my actions? So for you, I feel like it's being a walking sacred space. So you know how we talk about creating an altar, having a specific place where you keep some of your crystals and there's items on there that are full of intention, and you might go there to pray or to say some mantra or set up your manifestations. What I'm hearing for you this week is you want to actually bring that with you. So not physically bring it with you. It's creating the sacred space within you, and then you're walking sacred space. Bringing that into your space is going to make a big difference, especially when we're talking about being purposeful in your actions. You're a very sacred person. Like you like to be purposeful in the things that you do. You like to be of service to those that you connect with. So I want to say being purposeful for you comes naturally. It's something that I want to say it's kind of who you are. So take it that step further and visualize or intentionalize a spot in your body. In fact, like devote a spot in your body to setting it up. Even if it's just in your mind, you're setting up in the body. Like, okay, in my heart space, I've got my little incense and, I've got a candle burning and I've got my, favorite amethyst crystal or whatever it is in that heart space. Be a walking sacred space.
Good.
Awesome. She's like, okay, whatever.
It makes me think. It makes you ponder.
Always. All right. Question number 2. What energy helps me connect to my ultimate health?
Okay. Let Mr. Kyle Gray answer that with his Keepers of the Light. Whoops.
Oh, Cyranos. Yes. Life force. Sorry, I just scared Morpheus, who just came for a visit. Express your driving passion. Sensual and sexual powers are increased. Yes. So when we're talking about life force energy, this is the perfect card for this particular question, in that, again, I was saying the higher we vibe, the less that illness and dis-ease can really dive in and connect, right? So Cyranos, life force, is coming up to say, make life force your focus. Something that I've been practicing, I've been doing it off and on for years, but just recently I've been coming into a little bit more of this, of listening to the blood rushing through my body, listening to the sound of the air filling my lungs in particular, not through my nose, listening to my lungs. It's like forcing myself to go deeper within in order to hear or to feel. And what are we doing? We're feeling the life force. So for you, I feel like it's kind of doing in your sacred space. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're going to go visit yourself in your sacred space, and you're going to see how your blood flows and how the oxygen moves in all of your cells and all of those things while you're in that space. I feel like a lot of your work this week is internal, and it's using the imagination to go internally and to create some of these spaces in the body and to visit the body, especially for areas where you're feeling any kind of inflammation. Go right into that space. It might be a joint. It might be a space in between the joint. It might be, the space between your fingernail and the nail bed. Whatever it is, you want to physically, not physically, it's like me saying literally for everything. You want to imagine going into that space and connect with the energy of that space. And I feel like that's how you're going to connect with your life force. Your frequency is going to go up like this. And by the way, this is a message for Indu, but this is also a message for everyone listening. Everyone, you can do this. And I feel like this is our challenge for the week. I challenge everyone in a positive challenge to try this out, to give it a shot, because we're all here to raise our frequency and our vibration. This is a great way to do it. So many people are like, okay, I don't even know what that means. Like, what does that actually mean? Like, I know I feel happy sometimes and I know I feel sad sometimes, but I don't know how to shift that in my body. Here's one way that you can directly shift it in your body. So I'm going to throw that out as a challenge for everyone. Make sense?
Challenge taken.
Awesome. I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It was great to see your face. Oh, and there's the hand. Hey, Raghu. We always love the hand.
All right. Thank you, Indu.
Have a great week.
Bye.
All right. Next up, we have Stacy D returning. How you doing, Stacy? Can you hear us? There she is.
Keone, Stacy, hi.
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you. I know we were able to connect a little bit. I'm so glad I was able to reach out to you the other day and give you some information, further information you were asking about the membership. So,
oh yeah, I'm excited about that.
For accepting that email, I took a risk. I'm like, well, it's not like she's expecting me to reply, but I'm just going to send it off anyway. And so, thank you for being open to that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. So, what's your question today? What are we chatting?
I grabbed this deck also, which is fun.
Love it. Look at the synchronicity in that. You know, that's my favorite deck of his of all time, period, end of story still. And I love the Gateway of Light activation. That's an amazing deck, but that one is still my favorite. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That one I love. The messages are amazing and that reflects where I'm at. But the Keepers of the Light is like, it was one of my first decks and it's like always coming home, I guess is the best way to describe it. So
I haven't spent as much time with it, but I just did a scan and I was like really drawn to it for this reading.
Awesome. So
the first card that I drew.
Oh, Lady Venus, right? Yes. Downloads and understanding. So this is great. What energy can I lean into this week to help me be purposeful in my actions? It's receiving the downloads. And I feel like for you, it's not so much that you dismiss the downloads. You're very open to it and you receive the downloads. What I'm feeling is it's taking it that next step. It's like recording the download. Even if it's just a symbol, take a minute to draw out the symbol. If it's a color that you're receiving, record the color, because I feel like what's happening is not only are you receiving the download with information that's going to show up later, I feel like what your guides are wanting you to explore and expand into a little bit more is we automatically assume, okay, it's there and I'll figure it out later. But they're saying, no, step into that right now, because you could actually open up more of the information. It's not just a buzz in the ear or my head just sort of, exploded a little bit. What's going on there? It's let me go into that, because you will be able to access some of that information in real time rather than having to wait for it to unfold. You're looking very confused. Ask as many questions as you want around that, because I feel like a lot of people might be confused.
Well, the first thing, I don't feel confused. I agree with you. I think I've been pretty overwhelmed lately, and I do get a lot of things. And sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, like I've had that message, like filing it in. I know I need to pay attention to that. Right. But then, there's other things where like I'll sit with it for a minute and get really into it, but then like I won't come back to it. So it's just, I think as I become overwhelmed and with different things going on, whether it's tasky things or whatever, it's, making sure that I'm carving out the time just to really sit with something, without waiting for the next.
Well, you and I are similar in that regard. I'm like, okay, got the message, moving on, next. Okay, what's next? Part of that, I mean, I don't know that you're necessarily an A-type like me, but I'm very A-type, and I'm very like, okay, we got it. And my mind just never quits, right? It's always on the go with something else. So it's definitely important for you to sit in some of that download and let it unfold a little bit more. So whereas you might be packing it up in 30 seconds, maybe take a minute and a half and just sort of see what comes out in that extra minute. Because I really feel like what's wanting to open up is, we often think about downloads as, okay, I'm hearing the piercing in my ear and I can tell I'm getting something, but I don't know what it is. This is going to open it up to you where you're going to be able to say, oh, this is about blobbity blue, or, oh, this is a message from this archangel or this ascended master. And you write it down, because I feel like what it's doing is expanding your ability to discern. How do I say this? So there's a couple things rolling around in my head. I feel like you're leveling up. So it's like, it's not just the, okay, validation that I'm getting something. It's the, okay, well, yeah, validation that you got it all day long. Let's take it to the next level. What is the message, and how can you immediately apply that message right now moving forward? And when we're talking about downloads, it's a higher frequency. So this is also new frequency that your body has in the past dismissed or has not been able to, I want to say, bring awareness to. Well, now you can. So it's an invitation to take it to that next level and to say, okay, maybe I don't have to wait for the download necessarily, the full download to process. I can also tune in and say, okay, what is this about? What do I have to look forward to? And how do I prepare the body to receive it? Or how do I prepare myself energetically to receive it? I feel like we're talking very highfalutin, but that's what's coming through for you.
That makes sense. And what came to mind is like sometimes I go to like, oh, I know that already, or like I've already come to a conclusion. It's like, no, actually, you need to revisit it.
Yes.
and look at it differently. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So second card pull, what energy helps you to connect to your ultimate health? Oh, is that Michael? Oh,
yes.
Trusting yourself. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So the ultimate health, what I'm feeling for you actually is you are dealing with something that's a little bit, I want to say a little bit chronic. Sorry, I got a cat hair in my lip here. You're dealing with something I feel that's a little bit chronic, or a little bit like it's been lingering or hanging around for a little bit. And I feel like the trusting yourself is because you've been getting some guidance around doing something that's slightly different than either what has been prescribed, or doing something slightly different than what you would normally do or have normally done with it in the past. But you're questioning it because you're like, it can't be that simple. Like, it's kind of like when someone says to you, oh, you want to do blah, blah, blah. Well, why don't you just drink some chamomile tea? It's like, well, chamomile tea isn't going to do anything. Well, it might not do anything super obvious in the now, but you do that every night for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden the issue is gone when it's been plaguing you for months and months and months, right? So I feel like there's something coming up where you're not trusting yourself around the information that you're getting. And it's not so much, I want to say, psychic wisdom that's coming through as much as it's the intuitive nudge, the intuitive knowing that's coming up. And for whatever reason, I'm feeling that you're getting the intuitive nudge sort of in the belly area, and I'm leaning more to the right side than the left side. So listen to your body, but listen to that nudge. It's not words, but it's giving you a knowing. It's giving you information. And I feel like it's pointing you in the direction of where that, whatever it is that you need to apply, needs to be applied. I don't know if that makes any sense at all or not, but there's definitely something that it's been plaguing you a little bit. And I feel like you think about it a lot, even when you're not aware of the fact that you're thinking about it. So there's sort of a claiming that has happened, which is why it's taking a little more root. This is about uprooting it. Sorry, I'm not a gardener, so I get my gardening analogies mixed up. Uprooting it. You're going to uproot it through this process. So trust yourself, lean into that more. And of course, talk to Archangel Michael. He's going to help you no matter what.
Awesome. That stuff does resonate. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. And it's great to see you both.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on, Stacy. Have a great
All right, take care.
Stacey.
Bye.
All right. Melissa says, Stacy, I would love a pull. I am fixated on something and it's hard to let go.
Let go. All right. I'm feeling, Melissa, an oracle pull for you. Oh.
Something jump out?
Night. Yes. 2 cards jumped out. It's a 2-card night.
Oh.
So your first card, Melissa, is Eagle. See from a higher perspective. So before I even look at the second card, what I'm getting for you with the fixated on something, you're fixated on something that's very 3D. It's very third dimensional. It's very much, I would say, what I'm hearing is it's in the category of drama, right? Sometimes we can get caught up in drama or other people's dramas, or we get caught up in things that in the moment feel like they're a really big deal because you're energetically tapping into everybody else's feelings and emotions around it. But when you step out of it a little bit, you think, well, why did I really even get worked up about that? How much do I even really care about that? You know, maybe it was important in the moment, but now I'm feeling differently about it. So the eagle is saying to you, step outside of it, because when you step outside of it, sometimes we're too close to a situation, and anything that we're fixated on means we're absolutely too close. We're so close that we're submerged in it and we can't seem to break the tie. So this is remove yourself physically from whatever this situation is. I know fixation happens in the mind, but energetically, you've got to get out of that environment and shift yourself into an environment that inspires new thought, different thought about something else entirely. So use the eagle eye to remove you and to be able to see things from a higher perspective, because whatever you're fixating on, I feel like it's connected to something that, quite frankly, is out of your control. It's not something that you can control because it's connected to somebody else's choices. And that's what's really hard, is you're like, but I thought this was mine, or I thought this was my responsibility, or I thought that I owned this somehow, or that I had to do something about it. You don't. It's not yours, not your circus, not your monkeys. The second card you got, this is cool, Oracle. Wait for important information. So part of the fixation is also on not knowing. I don't understand why this didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I don't understand why this isn't turning out in the way that it was supposed to turn out. I don't understand. Oracle is saying, relax, breathe, get out of your head about it, take some distance, start thinking about something else, because the answers will come, but they're not going to come right now. And if you're going to stay in the fixated state, you're going to drain yourself, because it might be a couple months before you receive a message. It might be a couple of weeks before you receive the message. It might be years down the road before you receive the message. I'm also hearing for you that sometimes resolutions are overrated. So I'm just going to share this as an analogy. This isn't connected necessarily to your specific issue, but years and years ago, I was in a really horrible relationship. And we parted ways, and this individual basically just didn't ever speak to me again, but would run into family members and say all sorts of horrible things. And I had no way to defend myself. I had no way to say what was on my mind or what was on my heart. I mean, it was just like, and this was someone that was, really devastating me. And so it took me a long time, 6 years it took me to really kind of get over this individual. And I always would lay in bed at night and ask for resolution. Like, I just need some closure. I just need some closure. Like if I could just reach out, or if they could reach out to me, I just need some closure. Well, after that 6 years, come and gone, whatever, I wasn't thinking about it anymore. I didn't need any closure. I understood exactly where things were. No, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. All things being equal, I would have, had a different outcome. But here we are, right? Lo and behold, they reach out to me randomly, to just sort of talk and see how I'm doing, and in some ways to make amends and whatnot. And what was really powerful for me at that time was when I saw this individual come up, there wasn't that, oh, yay, the wellspring of the person's reaching out to me and I'm getting my resolution and I'm getting my closure and all the rest of it. I was kind of like, oh, wow, I don't need the closure. I never needed the closure. I never needed that resolution that I fought so hard to get. So I don't know why I'm sharing this with you in particular. I feel like someone needs to hear it. But in relation to your question, sometimes we get fixated because we think we need something that we really don't need. We already have it within us. And it's really about that. Like you said, I'm having trouble letting go. It's like, okay, all I have to do is just open my hands. I don't have to worry about where it's going to fall, where it's going to land. I don't need to provide a cushion. I don't need to think about how it's going to fall and the trajectory of things and is it going to break when it falls. I just need to let it go. And easier said than done, right? But this is what you want to practice. I let it go. So I hope that is helpful and makes some sense for you. Oh, we have the love spells coming through. How delicious. I laugh at some of these trolls, Keone. I laugh when they come in and talk about their love spell casters and come to Dr. Love Spell for a reading.
Oh, I did not mean to put that on the screen. I did it again. I tried to do.
It's kind of funny. I mean,
come have some of my magic elixir, and I can solve all your problems.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, Melissa, thank you so much for submitting your question. I appreciate you coming on.
I know we're 2 minutes over, but do you have time to fit one more in? Do you have the energy to fit one more in?
If it's super quick.
Yeah, you could do a super quick one. The only reason why I'm pulling this one out, because I know we're at the end, is Yara said she loved the deck that you were using, the Ancestors one. So she wanted you to pull a card from that deck.
Oh, the Ancestors one is what she likes? This one? Yeah. The Oracle?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh. And another card is jumping out. Wow. This deck is speaking to us. Okay, Yara. So we've got Stargazer. Set your sights higher. I'm really feeling like for you, girl, it's about not settling. And there's something that you're trying to make a decision around that I feel like the issue or the reason why you're not able to just make the decision or why you're hemming and hawing is because you're still trying to please a bunch of people. And whenever we try to please a bunch of people or we try to please a number of, sort of areas and pies and levels and layers, the only person that doesn't get their needs met is you. So set your sights higher. Do not settle. When you really get to that resolve space of what is it that I really want out of this decision that I'm about to make? What is the outcome that I want? Focus on that. Don't focus on anyone else. Don't focus on the what ifs and the maybe this and the maybe that. Focus on the what is it that I'm trying to get out of this? And if I make this decision, is it going to get me to the place that I need to be? Or is the people pleasing twisting me into a pretzel 57,000 times the thing that is going to get me to that space of, oh crap, I settled again. I did it again. I settled. And now everyone else has what they need, but I don't. I also feel like whatever this opportunity is or this decision is that you're going to make, it's something that has come around for you in the past and you've people pleased. And because of that people pleasing, you missed out on the full breadth and width of the opportunity. So I want to say, don't do that this time. This is an opportunity for you to do it differently. Set your sights higher. I hope that helps. This is one of my favorite cards too. First of all, he's wearing all my colors. He's got but then he's very magical, right? It's all the star energy, and he's got like a telescope in his hands with a bunch of like hieroglyphs and different symbols and astrology symbols on there as well. But I also feel like a little bit of wand energy when I look at this as well. Is that I want to say he's connected to fire. And he's sharing his soul fire with everyone else. He's encouraging everyone to connect with their own wand energy. So very, very cool.
Some positive comments to leave you with. Colleen says, thank you from down under.
Oh, Colleen, I miss you so much, girl. I hope you're doing well.
Melissa says, yes, cancer-free again, 3-year survivor.
Oh, congratulations, Melissa. That's wonderful to hear.
Okay, and Liz says, hi from London, UK.
Hello, London, UK. Thanks for tuning in, Liz.
And Therese says, I love it here. Embracing spirit and truth has elevated me so much. It's my passion.
Oh, well, we love to have you here, Therese. Thank you so much for sharing your light with all of us. You know, I want to say to you guys, even if you're just tuning in for a minute or so, we all feel the energy. So it's a little community here, you know, that we're building. If nothing else, if you're not participating, but you're just sort of tuning in and watching every once in a while, it's uplifting. Energetically, you're uplifted, and just know that you're not alone. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. All right, I'm gonna wrap up for tonight. I just want to again say thanks to everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the messages. I hope these messages are really helpful to get you through the rest of the week. There have been a lot of people in my sort of in terms of clients and doing readings that are really struggling right now with a lot of the shifts that are coming up that are unexpected in their lives. There are people who are going through some major tower moments right now. And a lot of people have already gone through this, you know, in the last couple of years, but there's like a second wave or a third wave coming through. If you happen to be one of those, I feel you, I get you. If you need a little bit of guidance, you need to lift me up, a little support, a little clarity and direction around what's going on, I would love to be of service. You know, check out my website, theblackfeatherintuitive.com. I think we put some stuff in the description below in YouTube, and there's always stuff on Facebook as well, my Facebook page. It's really easy to book with me. Would love to connect with you and support you in deeper ways, however you need that. So have an amazing week, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Keone, for showing up today and keeping me on track and for letting me laugh. That was awesome. Appreciate everyone.